There are many challenges 21st century is facing, and one of them is the global warming that is brought up by the rapid emission of the greenhouse gases. We have seen it in terms of the droughts the world is facing, the heavy rainfalls and tornadoes we are having every year. Bushfires and jungle fires are also occurring quite often, and most importantly, the glaciers and stock of ice we have in our planet is melting. But there is the possibility to reduce the rate of increase in temperature, and that is to reduce the net greenhouse gas emission to zero by 2060 if you want to control the temperature rise by 1.5 degrees. That's a challenge, and that's also an opportunity to save the planet and to save the ecosystem. Many developed countries has already realized the need of this change and have agreed to bring the net carbon zero by the year 2050. Most of the countries have agreed to that. EU is leading it. Some of the countries in Asia are following, and lately the USA have also joined this process. And this has brought a hope, and this has also shown a new path ahead of us. So what is EU's vision and action plan for transition towards green energy ecosystem? This is quite interesting. Let's hear it.
Hello everyone, my name is Ole Gunnar Dalhaug, and I'm working at a university in Trondheim, which is in the middle part of Norway, far north in Europe. In Europe we have high ambitions about the transition towards low carbon and renewables in the future. The commitment to reach carbon neutrality in the European Union should happen by 2050. And we are also targeting a 32% renewables only in 2030, which is quite ambitious. The Norwegian government is focusing on the same targets, and they are trying to move their policy likewise. Quite a lot of things have happened in my town and in the place where I'm living. I just have to mention a few of them. Transport buses are a lot going on electricity. My car, my normal car that I use every day, is fueled by electricity. We have a system where we can charge our cars every 50 kilometers or so, and in my hometown we have plenty of possibilities to charge it. My home is very well insulated, and it has a high focus on low energy consumption, especially in the winter time. And we are recycling quite a lot of the things that we are using. And Norway is right now one of the forthcomers of utilizing electricity for the transport sector. So scooters, bikes, cars, buses, trains, and now we are facing the possibility of using airplanes as well. Although this is in its rather early stages, but small airplanes can be found that utilize electricity. We are also trying to focus on the utilization of hydrogen, and we are focusing on the production of hydrogen through renewable energy sources. And the European Union is highly ambitious towards especially wind energy, solar energy, and we have already a lot of hydropower up and running. I believe that in your countries and in the Kush Himalayas, the same thing will happen. The trends that we see here will be transported and exported to that region. The technologies are available and it will be utilized. And I already see that in Himalayas that you have a huge possibility of building hydropower. We have a lot of solar energy available, And there are some wind energy as well. There is no reason why you couldn't do the same thing we are doing. I really hope to see that you are also looking into the possibilities of going in that direction. I have a lot of experience of going to Kathmandu, and I know the pollution in Kathmandu, and I really would like to see that the transport sector in that region will go from fossil fuels to renewables, hydrogen or electricity. It will be really a huge benefit for the people living in that area. Thank you. I hope to see you too.
We can see quite interesting and quite complex as well nexus between economy, energy and environment in Hindu-Kush Himalaya region. We can see the whole region falls down quite a low range in terms of economy and quite high in terms of the emissions that we are emitting. And we can see the energy we use in this region as a medium to connect this economy and this environment. More than 92% of primary energy consumption in the whole region is dependent on the fossil fuel. And that's the reason the region has to face a lot of challenges. We have already started to see the impact of fossil fuel consumptions in our region. Out of 7 million deaths from the air pollution, more than 4 million deaths are occurring in Himalaya region or Hindu-Kush region. And it has been predicted that by 2100, if we are not able to control the temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius, half of the glaciers, yes, the half of the glaciers in the whole Himalaya region will melt down, and this will destabilize the whole Asian rivers. We have already started to see the symptoms. Floods, glaciers, melting and other consequences have already started to show up. But the region is also striving its best to promote and to use renewable energy sources. If you compare from 2000 to 2018, there has been 6 times rise in total renewable energy consumption in the Himalayan region. This is quite interesting. But if you compare this in the overall picture, this takes a very small fraction. If you look India as an example of the energy consumption in the south, in the Himalaya region, then we can see that out of the total primary energy consumption, less than 2% is coming from the renewable energy sources, and this is almost similar in the whole region. So there is a need for an energy transition for the whole region, from the fossil fuel driven economy to renewable energy driven economy. This then brings us to a very interesting question. How can Hindu-Kush Himalaya region enter into energy transition phase of low carbon economy?
Production and consumption of electrical power is very essential for development of nation, society and complete nation. Today I would like to talk about South Asia and especially about Nepal, the energy situation in South Asia. When we look about South Asia, we can see that we are mostly producing electrical power through the consumption of fossil fuels, which will be finished one day, and these fossil fuels are imported from other countries. So it means we are not producing our power based on renewable energy sources. South Asia, huge consumers and also huge potential of hydropower, solar power and wind. We can use these sources to produce electricity sustainably, and we can use different processes like industrial process, transportation and home needs through this electrical energy. So now let's focus on the Nepal. We know that in Nepal we have a lot of hydropower potential, but development is going not so in this rate what we expect. Then we have also a lot of possibility of photovoltaic system in Nepal. So these two energy sources we can mix together for our sustainable development. I am talking here about renewable energy. We are consuming our energy based on fossil fuels. We are importing a lot of fuel. So we need about that means we have to use renewable energy source. But the question is that how we can use this energy. I would like to prefer here two solutions. One is short-term solution and long-term solution. Short-term solutions mean we can go for renewable energy-based hybrid power system. It means we can use hydro, we can use photovoltaic, and hydropower with some reservoirs. So when at the daytime we have sufficient photovoltaic, then we can store the water, and that water could be used in night. This phenomenon we can also use in summer and winter, even though the fluctuations of the water level in our river systems, that could be helpful to eliminate the fluctuation. In another term, in the long term, we can go further for hydropower, more hydropower projects. But parallelly, very important that electrification of all our daily necessities, like a transportation where we need a lot of fossil fuels, that should be electrified, and for that we have sufficient power. And other industrial processes that also should be electrified. And for example, daily use of our energy in home systems, that could be replaced by electricity. So that is our mixed energy which will give us sustainability. For example, even though in Kathmandu, in big cities like Pokhara, and where we can use a lot of photovoltaic in the rooftops, we can generate a lot of power for our need. In long terms, we need to go for more hydropower solution, and this hydropower we can use for our daily daily needs. Even though we can export hydropower based electricity, or we can convert, we can generate hydrogen which could also be exported. So in the future we need to go for this mixed energy system. Now come back to South Asia. In South Asia also we have these possibilities. We can use this system, hybrid system, even though Nepal could be used as a big green storage for the complete South Asian region. So we have consumers, we have potential, we have renewable energy. Let's come together and work together for future sustainable development. Thank you.
If you look towards the primary renewable energy in Hindu-Kush Himalaya region, a country like Nepal, Bhutan and Myanmar still have quite a lot of hydro resources to be developed. And a country like China and India, who have already utilized most of their hydro resources, are turning towards other renewable energy sources, and most importantly, solar energy. But these renewable energy sources needs to be regulated. It's quite a challenge to stabilize the demand and supply for the solar and other renewable energy sources in our region. There's quite an interesting example from Nepal. From the year 2021, the total installed hydro capacity will exceed the peak load, and by the year 2028, the surplus of hydro energy could be as high as 35 megawatts. That's quite a significant energy, and if we cannot manage it, then that will be lost. And that's one of the problem of the renewable energy sources. If you cannot use solar, if you cannot use wind, they will be lost, and that needs some kind of intermediate storage or buffering system. And another aspect of the renewable energy development is the cost of the energy, particularly from solar energy, is dropping down quite a lot actually, and it has already come down. The production of electricity fight the fossil fuels. Even it is expected to be coming below that level. But again, the challenges will be the regulation of the energy that's coming out from solar and other renewable energy sources, and that has created hydrogen as a future energy carrier. And by the year 2050, we can see more than 10 times rise in hydrogen demand, and a lot of new areas are showing up, and these are expected to use the energy from solar, wind, hydro and other renewable energy sources in a utilizable form in transportation, industrial energy, building and new other sectors which does not exist today. That means the future of the renewable energy sector will be quite different in future. If you look into the hydrogen as an energy carrier, it's just a splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen by utilizing this surplus or renewable energy sources. And that hydrogen recombines with oxygen and produces electricity. So that's basically the energy carrier. And there has been quite a significant progress recently to decarbonize heavy transportation sectors like trucks, and we have seen the double-decker buses, we have seen the passenger trains and ships and ferries, and also it's expected to have a larger transition in aviation sector as well by using the hydrogen coming up from the renewable energy sources. So that's the future where most of the developed countries are transition towards low carbon economy. But how this Hindu-Kush Himalaya region be able to adopt green hydrogen as the future energy carrier? Are we able to do that?
My name is Robin Lal Shrestha. I am working as a safety specialist in a Norwegian energy company, which is the biggest in Norway, and have 16 years of experience in this company, especially in technical safety and regulatory compliance. Currently, I am working in a hydrogen project in United Kingdom through this company. Hydrogen is not new to the industry, but of course, its use in the public domain will be a new step. Therefore, handling hydrogen and bringing it from industrial use to the public domain is a transformation, and all the transformations has an associated risk, which means that there is a safety related issue. This need to be handled in a proper way by understanding the risk and identifying the mitigating actions so that these risks are reduced to a minimum level as possible. The main safety risk regarding hydrogen is its wide flammability limit, which means that hydrogen gas clouds can easily ignite. Therefore, we must think safety in design so that we can mitigate such risks. To handle all such risks, we must establish a regulatory framework in Nepal which clearly directs the industry as a producer and society as a user on the safe implementation of hydrogen as an energy carrier. Therefore, we must rely on the research ongoing on the implementation of hydrogen as an energy carrier in Europe and all around the world. Based on this research and development, experience transfer from the industry where hydrogen has been used for years and decades, and collaboration with the academic institutions will give an outcome which will lead to handle hydrogen production, storage and distribution in safe and efficient manner. I am very optimistic on this.
If you look India as a symbolic representation of Hindu-Kush Himalaya region, it has started to work on hydrogen. National Green Hydrogen Policy Roadmap has been recently released, and they expect to have 4% primary energy share by 2030 coming from hydrogen. Big investments have already started to show up with the demonstration projects, and India wants to enter into the global hydrogen supply chain by 2030 with lots of new activities planned at the moment. And yes, the whole region is capable to do that. We have resources, hydro, solar and other renewable energy sectors. But what about the region? How this hydrogen can contribute to the whole South Asia or Himalaya region? We see a lot of emissions coming from the transportation sector. Hydrogen can be used as a green fuel in the future transportation sector. A lot of power is produced from fossil fuels, including coals and other energy sources. They can be replaced by hydrogen as an energy carrier from the renewable energy sources. A lot of heat is being produced for domestic and commercial applications. Hydrogen can be replace. Hydrogen can replace those areas in our region. A lot of processes in industries like fertilizer, chemical processes, mining industries are using fossil fuels in our region. They can be replaced by hydrogen energy in future. So yes, we have a prospect, and we see a transition towards green energy and green economy in Himalaya region or in the Asia region by hydrogen as a energy carrier. And we have sufficient hydro, solar and other renewable energy sources to make this happen. But that's not an easy way. We need to work quite hard, and we need to work as a team in the whole region for this transition. There are policies necessary, market to be developed. We need strategic intervention, develop roadmaps. We need to generate fundings. We need to make the technology economically and technically feasible for our society. But yes, this is possible way, and together we can make this happen.